This is Chris from Houston, and you're listening to Drunkard United. Come on, you Iron!
They actually had themselves a pretty decent week.
Yeah, it's a dig, isn't it? Fuck West Ham.
You take it however you want to take it there, Killer.
Whatever.
That's all on you.
That's absolutely pissing down with rain, and then y'all had to do this to me?
What? West Ham had a good week. Settle down. Hey, Sammy.
I could have been in the black.
Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stuff of my lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Drunkard United! Drunkard United!
Hello and welcome to the Drunkard United Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way is the evil mastermind, Samuel Graham. Sammy, how you doing?
Doing very well and coming up with the plot to derail the show as we speak.
Excellent, very good. Not like we don't have a shit fucking ton to talk about, right?
I know.
Exactly. We're recording at Studio H, just outside our nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review, share with your footballing friends, and tweet us, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, all that fun stuff. So, should you want to chat with us, there is many, many ways that you can. Sammy, why don't you tell the good people how they can get in touch?
Absolutely. We are at DUfootballshow on all your social media platforms. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And then DUfootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email. And apparently that pleases Zeus.
Yeah.
If you heard that in the background, was a very big thunder.
Just when I think I've
boom.
soundproofed the studio, Mother Nature goes,
Fuck you. Yeah. Says soundproof this.
But Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirits industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Sam, you have no idea what we're drinking because I didn't tell you.
Nope. I was just about to say, make sure you drink responsibly, though, and just listen back to last week's episode because it's the same gin.
Yes, it is. It is actually the same gin. This is the cocktail we had left over from the 3rd of July party. It was a dark berry Collins, so it had a little bit of blueberry, raspberry, and blackberry in it, a little bit of blueberry liqueur. The Joseph Egg Magnus District Dry Gin is in that as well, and a little bit of lemonade. Normally, I would do fresh lemon and simple syrup, but when you're making a big batch, you got to cut corners. So I used lemonade, and then topped with a little bit of soda water for some fizziness. And yeah, that's about it.
Excellent.
Gin's going to run about I say it's like $39.99 to $44.99. So.
Yeah, excellent stuff.
And you already said drink responsibly.
I did it. I took care of it because I didn't have anything else to keep track of.
How about that? Well, hey, we got a lot to talk about. Let's start the show.
Let's do it.
Sam, we asked for it last week. Someone, anyone, step up and play like you want to stay in the league. We got one. The Hammers of West Ham. West Ham 3, Chelsea 2. West Ham 2, Newcastle 2. Newcastle 4, Bournemouth 1, Man United 5, Bournemouth 2, Chelsea 3, Watford 0, Liverpool 2, Villa 0. The only team at the bottom getting points, and they got 4 with West Ham.
Yeah, huge couple of results for them. Chelsea got committed way too far forward, obviously, for that final goal.
Oh, God, yeah.
Trying to press for their own winner, and just got caught out. Mikel Antonio with fantastic hold-up play, and then great vision to find the crossfield ball to Yarmolenko, who should have squared it to Lanzini, but didn't, and got lucky he scored.
Well, the minute Rudiger let it go to his left foot, you're just watching, you're like, oh, that's in the back of the net. It's going on his left foot, and he's cutting in towards the box. You're like, that's a goal. That's a goal.
Right.
It's going in.
Yeah.
Nothing stopping that.
Not a great weekend overall for defenders.
No. A lot of goals. A lot of goals.
A lot of goals, but a lot of just calamitous defending.
Yeah.
Just schoolboy stuff.
Some really bad play.
Bad play. West Ham actually had a goal ruled out that shouldn't have been, in my opinion, as well. So
Yeah.
it could have been worse.
Yeah, the whole 6-foot-tall goalkeepers having a problem seeing over guys laying on the ground.
Yeah.
I know nothing about that. Not a thing about that. That never happened to us when 6'4" fucking David De Gea couldn't see over Gylfi Sigurdsson laying on the ground. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. Just very strange decisions from VAR. The Lucas Moura one comes to mind. It was a weird weekend. And the football on display, sure, there were a lot of goals, but some of these games were just, they were very one-sided. They were a bore to watch, in my opinion, in a lot of these.
Bruno Fernandes's second goal against, first goal, I'm sorry, goal number 2 against Brighton in the 3-0 game was definitely offsides. And you look at it and you go, I remember you taking 10 minutes to figure out that Sheffield was a toenail off against Tottenham, but earlier in the year.
Right.
But that one didn't even get looked at. So you're just VAR did not have a very good week. Or the stupid takes 3 minutes to look at the Everton handball. I thought if the ball hit the player on the hand inside the box as a defender, it's a handball. Why does it take 3 minutes to look at it on VAR?
Right.
It hit him on his hand. The rule's simple. It's cut and dry.
Well, it's an attacking player. If a handball leads directly to a goal.
Right. But a defender, if your arm is in an unnatural position and it hits your arm in any way, shape, or form, it's a handball. His hands were over his head.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
Right. It took him 3 minutes to figure that out. Just in general.
I don't fucking get it. My streak continues for betting against West Ham, and then West Ham, out of nowhere, finding a thread of form and shitting all over me and my bets.
I think that's personally just Chris is, reaching out to the team and going, look, there's this, dumbass in Maryland that tries to bet against you, and you need to go ahead and win this game. And they go, okay, we got you, no problem.
That was the next thing I had in the notes was, you're welcome, Chris.
The Newcastle match as well for them. It was good to get points. They did, though, for West Ham, gave up 2 1-goal leads.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty. So there's 2 things. You feel good for Newcastle fighting back from going down twice, right? West Ham then also did well to hang on.
Right.
But I also think Newcastle failed a little bit in seizing the opportunity in that momentum shift.
Right.
So it was a little strange of a dynamic. I think after that second equalizer, it was more of a case of even both teams to an extent, don't fucking lose.
Yeah, see it out. Just get the point.
Both of them
Get
just
the
see
point.
it out. It was almost like a gentleman's agreement. You didn't see a whole lot after that going forward either side.
West Ham, you got to be disappointed that you gave up 2 1-goal leads, but you also just got to go, we got the fucking point.
Yeah.
Which right now, the way we talked about it last week, a point will do the trick. I mean, there's still season left. There's still things that can happen. Maybe some of these other teams find themselves inspired and seem to give a damn and try to go get a win.
Well,
but right now, that 4 points is huge in keeping West Ham up.
Really, the only thing for me is it going to be Brighton falling off again, which it didn't seem like they are, picking up points themselves, then and getting dragged into that. Then it was, can Villa get points, because Bournemouth and Norwich are done and dusted.
Yeah, they're done.
That's it.
But Bournemouth gave up 9 fucking goals this week.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Yep.
They're gone.
They
It was-
scored
it
3,
was
which they haven't done for a while.
great to see
but
you
they-
here, but you're fucking gone.
Yeah.
9 fucking goals
Time's
in
up.
2 matches.
Time is absolutely up.
It's over. They figured out a way to give the goal differential advantage to Villa that they had a 6-goal lead on.
Yep.
They gave it away in 2 fucking matches.
Absolutely.
Oh.
They were abysmal. They look unmotivated. They miss Ryan Fraser. They have no creativity.
Nope.
They look a shell of themselves. They really do. And
How has no answers.
no. So this was the Bruno show against Manchester United. Obviously,
Right.
Was it in that game? I'm trying to find it. No, it was not in that game. It was in the Newcastle game. After they found themselves 4-0 down.
Uh-huh.
Right? Or no, it was 3-1. After the 3rd goal, that's what it was. After the defensive mishap that saw Dwight Gale score, Eddie Howe took out that little notepad. I like to think he was drafting his resignation right there on the fucking sidelines. That was during the Newcastle match. I forgot. And then during the Manchester United game, finished it off.
I'm pretty much convinced now. It's Villa or Watford who's going down, and
yes,
Watford will have their chance this next week, and we'll talk about it on an injury time. They have Norwich, so there's their chance. But here's the problem: they also have shown fuck all to try to do anything. They got the point against Leicester, which, let's face it, until Leicester played Palace, has been hapless, and that's all they have to show right now for it is one single fucking point since coming back. And
now I'm nervous for my match with Leicester this week
because they've already got scoring.
Vardy got that monkey off his back of the 100th goal.
Yep.
Which you think the chance was gone in that game. And then literally 15 seconds, this was another one of the suspect defending. DFR Sacco losing out to Harvey Barnes.
Right.
And Harvey Barnes finding Jamie Vardy in the middle for the simplest of tap-ins for his 100th.
Yep.
I don't see... Villa played well. They actually outshot their opponents.
But they can't fucking score.
They can't score.
They can't
That's the end of it.
score.
They can't score. They outshot Liverpool 6-4 on target.
Everything comes down to this week for Villa. They play Palace. They have to beat Palace because I don't know where else they're going to get a win.
I don't know. I think they might be back now. Andre Gray and there was one other player. Ooh.
Yeah.
One other player for Watford that were suspended essentially because they had to quarantine. There was 3 players suspended. One person hosted a party. One player went to that party, but that player lives with Andre Gray. So then he came home, and Andre Gray had to quarantine also.
Right.
So, but I think they're allowed to come back this week.
Yeah, they are.
So that'll be a boost for Watford. They'll have all of their options. They did create a few things in their game, but again, Danny Welbeck, not the guy you want to rely on to keep you in the Premier League.
No.
You know, he'll get you some important goals and he'll do some special things. But when push comes to shove, you want Troy Deeney, you want the experience, you want the guy with the weight on his shoulders, and he's not stepping up at the moment.
Yeah, and like you said, credit to Villa. They played their ass off. You're playing Liverpool. You expect to lose.
That was a great first half, though. Come on.
Losing,
absolutely.
If you want to take any solace, losing 2-0 means you didn't lose 4 or 5-0. Which, surprisingly, after what happened to Liverpool earlier in the week, you would have thought, shit, here comes the whooping.
Oh yeah, Friday you were all telling me sorry about your game on Sunday. You're gonna get your asses handed to you, and I tell you, the guys played well. Wasn't just Jack out there looking like he wanted it. Mings played his dick off, to borrow a phrase from Sam Houston.
Douglas Luiz.
Doug Luiz had one of the best games he's played.
Yeah, he played awesome.
And we just can't get it over. It's unfortunate, but I can't be mad about only losing by 2 to Liverpool. And even then, it was, 75th minute when they finally scored?
Finally got one.
Yeah,
we're not...
And that was after a couple of nice counterattacks from Villa that almost went in. And
we've been failing second half, so at least now we only floundered second half of the second half, which it's too late in the season for that to be considered progress, though.
And I mean, the other thing, you say they almost went in. We're getting to the business end here.
At this point,
almost this isn't horseshoes or hand grenades.
They gotta score. They gotta score.
Got to be in.
And
gotta score.
And your next game is against the hottest team in the league in Manchester United. Which is unfortunately going to be a loss.
If they play hungry and if they figure it out, I mean, there's still a chance. I'm fairly
Palace.
I'm not giving up yet, but it is. I do think it is between us and Watford. Bournemouth is going down. Notch is going down. I think West Ham's perfectly fine. I think it's between us and Watford. So
I think you can beat Watford. I'm sorry. I think you can beat Palace. I think there's 2 other games that could be had for you too.
Yeah.
You could get us because especially let's say if we lose to Wolves and we're out of Europe, that game won't mean dick all to us. Other than Carlo just wanting to see what he has out of the team, and depending on where Sam's team is with Europe, your game could mean fuck all.
Look at the one earlier in the season that I attended.
Yeah.
in September of last
Yeah, it was a
last
tight
year.
match.
God, it feels like fucking forever ago.
It does feel.
Oh my
'Cause
goodness.
The new
I
season
forgot
will
that
be
was
here.
in this season, wasn't it?
Yeah, the new season will be here like next month.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Maybe a month out, September, I think. But
Oh
yeah.
my god.
But so they had we only beat you 3-2 by a late free kick.
Yeah, the wall. The
Yeah.
wall you were standing in front of.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, Villa, if you want to stay up, you have to score. So, cheers to that.
Well, they still got West Ham the last game of the season, and if that may mean
That could
may
be
mean
staying up.
It may mean fuck all to West Ham too. West Ham may already be up at that point.
Yep.
West Ham may not care and do. Let's give them a solid.
They won't, but they
It's
could.
the bitter alcohol fumes that go up and burn your nostril hairs
Well-
that I dislike the most about Malort.
Taylor said that if you use a Cutwater Bloody Mary, it
Is that what does
deafens
it?
the bad taste.
We
in
may
your
have
mouth.
to do that
Yeah.
next time because I'm just assuming I'm doing shots for the rest of the season.
Right.
That took some effort. Champions League and Europa spots are starting to take shape as the season comes to an end. Well, the beauty is it's going to be edited out, so me saying that, nobody has any idea what happened. It's going to be great. All right, Manchester United 3, Brighton 0, Arsenal 4, Norwich 0, Arsenal 2, Wolverhampton 0, Sheffield 3, Spurs 1, Sheffield 1, Burnley 1, Everton 2, Leicester 1, Spurs 1, Everton 0.
Dagger.
Yeah, we'll get to that one. It's pretty simple. It's one sentence. We got Jose'd today.
Yeah.
An own goal, 1-0 loss. Getting Jose'd.
I have an interesting stat for you. I guess you can call this a goal involvement since he hit that ball, Lo Celso.
Yeah.
But in 16 minutes, Cedric Suarez has had now the same number of goal involvements as Lo Celso has, and he's played 34 games or whatever it is this season.
Fucking
for
brilliant.
Spurs. Yeah.
I think it's pretty clear it's a 3-horse race, really, for Champions League. You got an outside shot, but you need people to lose.
And I don't think Chelsea, the West Ham game, I think is a slip up.
Yeah.
I don't see them dropping many more points the rest of the way.
Yep.
So I really think it's between them and United for that fourth spot. And the only real hope, and whichever one doesn't finish there, will finish in fifth and claim the last Champions League spot, I think. But we are now primed for the Europa League positions if we can make it through this week. Mm-hmm. And this is the interesting thing about Arsenal every year, right? We always say for years before the show started, Arsenal has that week in March
That it all
falls apart. They get knocked out of the FA Cup. They get knocked out of the Champions League or Europa League or whatever. And then they lose the 2 Premier League games in 10 days that they have, right? Mm-hmm. We're in a situation now where we have Leicester, Spurs, Liverpool, and then the FA Cup semifinal against City in 4 consecutive games. So it is going to be a rough ride over the next few weeks. But the way Leicester's playing, I think we have a chance there.
Oh, yeah.
On the way we're playing.
Leicester could be had. Mm-hmm. Leicester can completely be
Liverpool, they're drunk. They're still drunk. Liverpool looks like they went to the 3rd of July party.
Liverpool didn't look good against Villa.
No.
I mean,
so against City, I mean, you could tell they were still fucked up.
Yeah, that was just not good.
Let's just get that out of the way now because it's worthless talking about. There's nothing you can tell or gauge from that performance.
It's why it's on. Oh, so that happened is why I put that game there because the game literally means fuck all. We're gonna talk more about Klopp being a pissy pants than we are gonna talk about that match. Oh.
But yeah, so you can't really judge, in my opinion, those 2 performances there. I thought getting to 100 points would mean more to the players.
Yeah,
it means a lot to Jurgen Klopp, as you can see. But I thought it would mean more to the players.
Yeah,
it's Bubkiss. They're champions. Who gives a shit?
I think for you guys in particular, I mean the Manchester United, real quick, they score 8 goals. They gave up 2, but that loss to Bournemouth, it was funny. The show we listen to and don't talk about on our show had mentioned that was like the old school days of Sir Alex. Mm-hmm. They go down 1-0, and that pissed him off. And suddenly the next
Definitely.
thing you know, it's 3-1. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, and-
that's right. We're playing Manchester fucking United.
And Bruno was all over it, and it's a shame it was kind of overshadowed by Bruno's overall performance, but a fucking great goal from Anthony Martial.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant goal. You couldn't have held it in the corner any better.
Oh, no.
It was fantastic.
Perfect.
But just a real vintage performance. Haven't scored 5 goals at home since 2011.
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
Insane, isn't it?
Sir Alex was in charge then.
The team's turning a corner. It is undeniable. And
Yep.
it's to think of the absolute shit show that Manchester United has been this entire season. All the drama with Pogba, all the issues with injuries. Can Ole coach this team? Can Ole still coach this team? We don't fucking know. He may just be the lucky recipient of a good partnership with Pogba and Fernandez. But who would have thought, Pogba would come back and it would work and everything's perfect? I mean, Manchester United at the end of the year could finish up in 3rd fucking place.
Yeah.
How the fuck did that happen? How the fuck did that happen?
I know. I couldn't tell you because they were a shit show.
Because that's not
At
a
the
normal
beginning of the
Manchester
season.
United 3rd place team. That is not.
Not a chance. They found their balance. Everyone's fit. Everyone's firing. Rashford, Martial look sharp. They've come back. It looks like they spent some time just on Zoom getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And they look like a team now as opposed to a group of individuals.
Yep.
And Bruno Fernandes is central to that. It started just before lockdown, and then it looks like they just spent time getting to know one another, talking about where they like the ball, talking about how they like to move, and they look like a cohesive unit.
Yep.
It looks like when you're doing that shitty gym lesson that you don't want to do, and then the gym teacher in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer just throws out basketballs, and you're like, yes, we don't have to do this dumbass shit anymore.
Yeah, let's play some one-on-one.
I'm playing a fucking handball. Get out of here. I want to play basketball.
Right.
And that's what it looks like. And what else can you expect from the Norwegian gym teacher than to keep all of his students happy?
You need to get that one in there, didn't you?
Yep.
You wrote that one down, didn't you?
I did not.
Oh,
I
that's
came
all
up with it just now. It's right off the dome piece, my friend.
Oh, credit to you, you witty sumbitch.
Thank
How
you.
about that? Now, for Arsenal, honestly, let's not overlook the Norwich match. That's a game you typically fuck up. That was a solid professional win where it wasn't 2-0 and you scored 1 late. You kicked the shit out of a bad team.
Yeah.
That's a big positive for your club.
Oh, yeah. It's a huge confidence booster because, like you said, normally we steal away 1-0, maybe have a draw or do something stupid like we did at Brighton.
Right.
Where you can't, even if you win, even if it's that 1-0 situation, you can't take any real confidence or positives from the game. If it's a draw, you can't really do anything. And then obviously if it was a loss, just never want to leave the locker room.
And that result bled right into Wolverhampton.
Wolves, absolutely.
You owned them.
Yep.
And they started Traore, and you were able to slow them down, which, again, I don't know why you start Traore. You bring him off the bench, wait till that left or right back, his legs are a little bit tired, and then have to deal with that lunatic. When you start him, you could beat him up. You could slow him down. You can make him get aggravated. And it's just something.
Well, Emiliano Martinez, he had a great chance early on. 4
nice
minutes
save.
in, maybe something like that. Emiliano Martinez just making himself huge. Carooned off his chest kind of face area, and he saved well. And after that, Traore didn't really have a sniff.
I don't think you're going to necessarily have to go get a starting keeper. I think
don't
you
either.
can let him play.
Yep, me too.
I mean, you're going to need a backup because who knows how long
Leno's going to be out.
gone.
Yeah.
But I think you can put that kid in the net and let him play.
But
he knows what he's doing.
The thing that I loved about this game was there wasn't a ton of beautiful football. It showed that we can win ugly. We don't have to walk the ball in the back of the net. We don't have to play the prettiest stuff in the world or play out of the back all the time or this, that, the other. Sometimes you just punch a team in the mouth and it works.
Credit that to coaching.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
100% it's coaching.
Yeah.
100% it's Mikel Arteta.
I think that's Arteta starting to put the stamp on this team. And,
Yep.
yes, he's an inexperienced coach, but I legitimately think he's the right man for the job. There was talk of our teams flip-flopping, right? You getting Carlo and us getting Arteta.
Yep.
I think each of us got the right guy, and if it would have been the other guy, it would have been the wrong guy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have fit either.
Yeah.
Although I think maybe Carlo could have tamed our dressing room a little faster simply because of his pedigree.
Right. Well, people shut the fuck
But-
up when Carlo speaks.
Yeah, right, exactly. Where somebody like Guendouzi, who's a prat by all accounts,
Right.
doesn't have he doesn't have the cojones to stand up to
Right.
a three-time Champions League winner.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, sit down, boy.
Arguably one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Absolutely. I
You
mean, he'd
know?
take the
Yeah.
eyebrow and stick it right to that kid's forehead.
Yeah.
um,
So yeah, you're right in that regard, but I don't think that's the person you needed in your locker room.
no, I don't either.
Because Carlo's also a little bit more hands off and is a bit more of a tactician style kind of a manager,
Right.
where Arteta's got a little something to prove, and there's a little bit of heart in him, and I think that's
And we needed that heart.
that's what Arsenal really needs right now is you kind of need your balls to drop a little and go back to being a little tougher. Go back to being those teams of old that you fell in love with as a kid watching Arsenal play. Because those teams, like the Invincible team, they were tough as fucking nails.
Oh,
it
yeah.
wasn't just pretty. It
Abso-fucking-lutely.
wasn't just pretty football. It was there's some people that would put a motherfucker on the floor. Like
yeah.
they would definitely put in
You
a
had
tackle.
Martin Keown, you had Sol Campbell, you had Patrick Vieira, you had Gilberto, you had fuck me, who else was in there? That's such a good team. Yeah, Laurent, the Cameroonian.
Was Sol Campbell part of that team, or did he come a
No,
little
that was
later?
Sol Campbell was there.
Sol Campbell's right proper. I mean,
Oh,
he's a hard man.
I
For
think-
forward, he's a hard man.
Yeah, I think no, Sol Campbell's a center defender.
Oh, I thought he played. I thought he
No.
played up top. My mistake.
He scored a ton of
Oh,
goals.
that's right. Yeah. Oh,
he
yeah.
scored a ton of goals.
Set
with the,
piece guy.
With the
That's
noggin.
why.
Yeah.
That's why. Set piece guy. My apology.
He's a weird dude too.
Yeah.
Sol Campbell.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
oh,
honestly,
God, that
that's
was so good.
But that's what your team needs. It's
No,
exactly
definitely.
what your team needs.
That's what. Once Patrick Vieira left, that was the last player we had that had some grit and determination about him. That had some of that shit. That those battles were some of the best to watch. Was Vieira versus Roy Keane, two just proper hard men going up against one another, wanting to win at all cost. Doesn't matter. And since we sold Patrick Vieira, we haven't replaced that person.
So the big one there for Wolves is they need to show up against us this week, and then I believe they still have Sheffield on the books as well to play.
I think that's right.
So
one quick thing about
Yeah.
Arsenal. Congratulations to Nicola Pepe, became a father.
Oh,
That's why
congrats.
he missed the game at the weekend. Was because his wife went into labor the morning of the match.
Oh, good on him.
Yep.
Congrats, Papa.
Sorry,
No problem.
that was it. Thought it deserved a mensch.
Yeah, like I said, Wolves. I think Wolves are looking more at a Europa spot now.
Yes.
I think that loss to you probably put the nail in the coffin for them.
Yep.
They've played well, and there's still a chance, obviously. But when you get to the point where there's only 5 games left, you need other people to screw up, and I don't think enough people are going to screw up for them.
I would agree.
And it's the same case with you. I don't see Leicester, Chelsea, and Man U fucking up enough for you to
Get a Champions League spot.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm 100% with
I think you got 6 name is written all over it. Like 6 places sitting there for you to have.
Yeah.
I feel like.
And
right
I
now.
mean, obviously, Sheffield United's loss is my gain, right?
Yeah.
Where we kind of will replace them in that top 7, I think.
Although
And I think Wolves will stick around, and you have a good shot as well if Wolves can't right the ship here to pop back up in that conversation of 7th, 8th.
right. I'll get to us in a second. Sheffield, a good comeback this week, getting the win against Spurs, and then getting the draw against Burnley as well. Who Burnley is also still not out of it yet.
No, Burnley are still not completely out of it. You're absolutely right. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about the Sheffield Spurs game.
Now, this one was a beaut. This one was a beaut. Peter Crouch Jr., Scottish Peter Crouch.
Yep.
Ollie McBurney.
Yep.
I'm just kidding. He's only 6'2", but he's just as skinny as Peter Crouch,
Yes.
which is enjoyable. I have no idea why the original goal was ruled out.
Oh, the Lucas Moura one?
Yeah, that's absolutely fucking ridiculous. It's completely against the spirit of the game, in my opinion.
So I would like to go ahead and say that that's karma, because let's go ahead and take week 3 of the English Premier League season, and I give you Emerick Laporte being pushed to the ground by a Spurs player, and the ball grazes his hand as he's falling to the ground, and they lost a goal. I would like to say in this situation, the soccer gods have spoken and all has been made right with the world.
I don't disagree with that necessarily. I think both decisions should have just been handled differently when they fucking happened.
Oh, of course. Of course.
That's my opinion.
And
Just get it right. Do your job. That's VAR. Do your fucking jobs.
No. But that gave us classic Jose after the match.
Well, that's true.
That was
It
fucking
did.
gold.
Yeah.
Jerry, I tell you, gold.
That was lovely. Sander Berger.
Berja.
Fantastic game he had as well. Great touch, pretty much off the kickoff after was it Harry Kane that scored? The Sheffield United didn't let themselves drop, and Spurs switched off, and Sander Berge just went down and made them pay.
I don't think Spurs are going to finish in even a Europa spot.
Nope. And
I think they're in trouble.
Jose said they'll be lucky to finish in 9th.
Yeah, I think they're 9th or 10th place. They may be 8th, but
Who knows? They also, but he just had a great game, and after that equalizer went in, Spurs looked shell shocked.
yeah.
You know that was that. It really was a Spursy performance, and it was lovely to see. And this is the first time in a couple of years that it looks like, at least for the moment, we are.
St. Tottenham's Day is going to happen.
Is going to happen this year. It
Been a
looks
little
like.
while.
I'm not going to jinx it. Knock on wood.
Been a little while, hasn't
It's
it?
been 3 years.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That was something you used to count on.
Oh yeah, it'd be the only thing to celebrate.
Right.
That and probably an FA Cup win.
Yeah. Precisely.
But even that's up in the air now, of course.
Yeah. So,
It was brilliant. And Harry Kane, Harry Kane scored last.
yeah,
didn't he?
it was 3-1.
I don't know why I
Kane,
did that. Yeah.
Kane scored right at the
I
end.
don't know why I said that.
It was
They scored from the initial kickoff essentially,
right.
like very quickly.
right.
Yeah.
And it was the
I
after
wrote
the
this really that
they
poorly.
scored that one after the penalty as well. So
Melissa, I wrote this really poorly.
All right, well then let's go on to the no
So
real
you're saying
need.
when you don't write something, it comes out well. When you do, you fuck
it's
it up.
it's terrible.
Really not much more to say other than just a gutsy 1-1 draw with Burnley and Sheffield, and Burnley's done a good job of keeping their themselves around. Now this is more of an off-season talk when it comes to Burnley. A lot of them players want to leave.
Yeah.
And the legs that house is built on are very, very fucking weak. If you're Burnley, I don't know if you necessarily want to go to Europe next year. You might not be able to handle it.
Correct. Absolutely. I really didn't write a lot for this one. This was Burnley Senior versus Burnley Junior. In this game, big surprise, it finished all square, just 7 shots on target, and the game distributed evenly, even in possession. This is like the Spider-Man meme when he's looking at himself pointing. That's what this game was. Just each side, either side of midfield going, no, I pack it in and play on the counter. No, I pack it in and play on the counter. And so not a lot to see here, in my opinion. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Burnley is going to find it difficult next season, I think. The real question is what players on that team, besides the defenders, who goes somewhere and improves another squad? The defenders and Dwight McNeil.
Yeah. Yeah, because Tchaikovsky's going somewhere.
Who's going to come
going somewhere.
Yeah, who's going to come in and for those players?
Pope could end up going somewhere.
Yeah,
Because Pope's near the end of his deal as well.
Right. I mean, there's 3 or 4, but my point is it's not going to be a mass clear out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And apparently the bulk of the squad and Dyche have been having issues, that it's not as all happy and run. Like just a lot of what I've been reading online is that it's not going as well as everybody thinks it is. And it's kind of amazing that Burnley is where Burnley is right now.
Right. Well, it just speaks to all their professionalism, to be honest.
You know, oh God, yeah.
You know, and that's one of the characteristics of that group and of that team.
Right.
The other thing to that is what do they in this market, the biggest issue is going to be their players aren't really of a super high stature.
Right.
Those couple of players we mentioned you could probably get some decent coin for. That coin, though, how are you going to replace those players to be just as effective?
Precisely.
Question number 1. Question number 2. Do the teams that are willing to spend pretty coin on those 4 players, do they have the coin to spend because of COVID?
Not really.
Right. So then what?
Yeah.
You're fucked. In my opinion, most of those players will still be there next season because nobody's going to pay over the top.
But they're ready to move on. which is going to be
It's
bad.
going to still affect Burnley,
It'll affect
absolutely.
play.
Yeah.
So moving on real quick to Everton, there's not a ton to really say. The one thing I got out of the Everton-Leicester match, first thing that we mentioned before, why does it take 3 minutes to do a VAR check on a person that has a hand in an unnatural position? Unnatural position, it hit their hand. It was almost like if VAR and the official on the field were going, we haven't given him a penalty kick yet this year. Maybe we just don't need to. You know what? Nah, but his hand was up. It hit his hand. I think we got to do it. Do we have to? Oh, okay. We'll give it to him. I mean, it's really how it felt. The nice thing to see was in that match, Carlo made changes when Richarlison got hurt. He brings on Yerry Mina, secures the defense. And while the commentators would let you think that this was Man City against Southampton this weekend, like that they were barraging us, but the truth be told is they scored on a ball that we cleared that redirected off of their player's chest. And then our central defender and keeper got into a jumble that our central defender, Michael Keane, kicked the ball off the line. That was all the chances Leicester had.
Yes, Iniacho did have one near the end of the game blazed over that he should have done better with. He just didn't keep his focus. And Ayoze Perez shot wide. They weren't on target, but both were chances that each player should have done better with. But there was no siege on your goal.
There was nothing.
It was literally those two chances, and that was it towards the closing stages of the game.
Leicester looked like Everton when they were losing to a lesser opponent under Koeman or Silva or Martinez. They threw all their strikers on, and they still couldn't even develop an attack. Was the thing. It was while the game was unnervy because the ball's in your end the entire time. At the same time, I was like, they're not getting any opportunities. Like they're not even getting inside the box. Like every ball that came in, Mina and Holgate and Keane were to the task and just headed it all away.
Yeah, absolutely.
And honestly, today's match, as I get ready to take my first Malort since we came back from the COVID, is
that true?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so sad.
We got Jose'd. They scored on an own goal on a ball that was going out of bounds that unfortunately ricocheted off of our player's chest and went the other direction. And that was it. That game was shit. And unfortunately for Everton, we clearly don't have as deep of a bench as other teams do with the amount of injuries we have. That showed today. When you're playing this many games, you need to be able to sit Richie for just a game. Just a game. You need to be able to sit Calvin Lewin for a game. You need to be able to sit, Andres Gomez for a game. You just got to give those guys at least a break.
Yeah.
And they've got 3 and 7 days this week.
Absolutely.
So you're going to see performances like that where they just don't have the legs. You can't expect them to. And I always want my team to succeed, right? I want my team to do the best that they can. But this season, under this circumstances, I don't necessarily know if I want my team in Europe playing Europa ball next year. I'd almost rather Carlo have them all to himself to worry about playing FA Cup and League Cup and try to win a trophy, because that's dire importance to Everton, and then let Carlo get this team right proper in the conversation for Champions League, and Europa is the fallout because you didn't get to Champions League. That's what I'd rather see that than us backdoor our way into Europa next year, because we're not going to have the money to buy the players. We don't have the depth to be ready for that, and it's going to be too much on us.
Say the only thing is leveraging that prize money that you're guaranteed to reach a certain stage,
of course,
to be able to afford players, and the draw of European football.
Right.
Because we talk about this a lot. When you finish 8th every year or 9th every year, you can only there's a ceiling of what kind of players you can bring in.
Right.
And a Moise Kean, who wasn't really ready for the Premier League yet,
right,
was your only acquisition for real.
But
I mean?
But I would also then say this team never had a manager the likes of Carlo Ancelotti.
Absolutely.
And that's going to make players want to stay, first and foremost. People are going to want to stay. And also,
hopefully not Gylfi.
Right. and also, it may bring in a few other players on a cheaper ticket simply for the fact of, I want to play for Don Carlo. So,
right. Hopefully, yeah.
We got Joe's aid. Fuck it. Whatever. It's the first one I have to do. So here we go. Yeah, that shit sucks.
And it's hard after you haven't had it for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you come back to it. Oh,
Ugh. Like just
terrible.
ripping all the taste buds. I can
Just
feel the taste
clean
buds
off the
rolling
tongue.
from the back of my tongue to the front of my tongue
Yeah.
in just awfulness.
It's terrible.
Fucking awfulness.
It's absolutely terrible.
I tell you what, man. Fuck my lord. Rounding out the rest of the league, so that happened. We just got 3 games to talk about. Brighton 1, Norwich 0. Southampton 1, Man City 0. City 4, Liverpool 0. So we were both still drunk and in bed when Brighton beat Norwich.
Now, I did watch the highlights of this game, of course. And here's what I've got. Great Aaron Moy cross. Good finish from Leandro Trossard. The rest of the game was absolutely fucking terrible and turgid to watch. Simply hated it. I hated myself for watching the rest of the highlight package. But there was one highlight of the game that was on the highlight package and that matters. And I think, and now it's a little sad because there was only 4 of them when they showed the fan screen. There was only 4 of them that zoomed in. But our boy Paul, who was on this podcast, was on the Zoom screen.
Awesome. Way to go, Paul.
Yeah. So saw him on the telly. It was nice to see you. Lindsay from our Aston Villa supporter, she was on the fan screen a couple of weeks ago.
Yep, she gave me a heads up to look for him.
Yep. So very cool to see some of our people of this parish being recognized. Simon was on one of the halftime breaks in the Arsenal game with his family sitting on the stoop.
I saw that one.
Yeah. So it's pretty good seeing people of this parish, being recognized by the clubs and getting on TV and stuff. It was pretty good.
Real quick, I'm sorry. I got to go back to Everton real quick. I completely forgot to mention this. I feel like a dumbass for not mentioning it. So DC Toffees today, we did a little Zoom to watch the game like we've been doing. John, our the president or the founder, or the runner, whoever. Well, I don't know the exact term he likes to use, or just the guy who runs shit.
President Lord Master of the DC Toffees.
That'll work, yeah.
How about Don John?
Yeah,
Don John.
Don Carlo and Don John.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
Pre-match and during halftime, we had one Mr. Darren Griffiths, who is the gentleman that calls our games on Everton on the internet. Calls all the Everton matches.
Oh, cool.
Him and Graham Sharp call the matches together, and he jumped in on our Zoom and showed us where he was at in the press box and talked to us a little bit and got our opinions on how the squad was looking, which was pretty much a resounding shit.
Yeah.
But it was very cool, and it was also very cool for John to set that up, and it was great to see. It was a nice turnout of DC Toffees, and I wish I saw more of you guys more often. So let's move into the Southampton-Manchester City game. It's worth mentioning that Che Adams scored. It was a great goal. This shit happens.
Yeah.
This happens in the Prem. It's, a team will go up 1-0, pack it all in, and not let another team score.
Pack it?
Yeah.
Did they pack it? I think City had 73.5% possession in this game. It was all one-way traffic for the most part.
Yeah.
Southampton did have 1 or 2 chances here or there. I think it was 6 shots on target for City to 4 from Southampton. So they did have an odd counterattack here or there.
Right.
But it was Kevin De Bruyne who didn't want the ball in the position he was in, got given the ball, lost it, and Che Adams recognizing that sweeper keeper Ederson was off his line further than Manuel Neuer normally is, and Che Adams looked up, first time, bang, from all of 40 yards, nailed on 40 yards.
Yep, right over his head, just floated it right in.
It was absolutely brilliant. And then 10 men behind the ball, and we're not giving up this lead.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Bit of a hangover game for City after they beat the ever-loving shit out of Liverpool.
I think they proved their point or whatever, also with their little shitty corridor of applause.
Yeah. I think...
To steal another term.
Yeah. I think they really care. I think City really, really cares about the FA Cup and cares about the Champions League, and they could really give fuck all about the league.
Yep.
They know they're comfortably in second.
I don't even think they really care about the FA Cup, but they're playing Arsenal, so it'd probably be a walk in the park.
Well, they want 3 trophies this year. They want to be able to go, oh yeah, by the way, we still won yet another treble.
Right.
Okay, great. You won the league. Good job.
Right. Nah,
you
I feel
didn't
you.
win. You didn't win anything else.
Yeah, a
know.
treble of cups is not a bad thing either.
Yeah, some things worth noting in the massacre of City versus Liverpool. We put this in so that happened because it really means fuck all. Liverpool already won the league. Liverpool, they came out for the first 15 minutes and they looked like they wanted a piece of it. And if they had gotten a goal, they probably would have had to go. But they didn't. And next thing you know, they're down 2-0 and they could really give a fuck. And that's perfectly fine. You won the fucking league already. It doesn't matter.
So it was almost like City were just clinical. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
the shots in possession in this game were almost equal.
Yeah.
But Liverpool was very uncharacteristically wasteful in possession, and in some of their taking of chances. I mean, really, the only thing that I wrote is Liverpool were still drunk, City were clinical,
And
that was it. That told the story. It had the feel of it, with City doing the guard of honor, the corridor of applause, and kind of abandoning it before the whole of the Liverpool squad had walked through
It
it.
was so sad.
It was
so sad.
It was reminiscent of the Detroit Pistons walking off after the Bulls won their first championship.
although, come on, let's face it, isn't it a little pissy that like every team's going to do it for them now the rest of the way? That's
Are you
what it's been
serious?
agreed.
I
Like
think everybody does that, though.
I don't believe so. I believe it's just the very next game, and then everybody's like, whatever.
I thought it was every away game.
Yeah.
I thought it was every away game they bring them into
Villa
that.
did it at Anfield.
Oh, at Anfield?
At Anfield.
I think Villa just hates themselves.
could be the case. Could be the case. I think what's very important
Maybe
here
we were sucking
is
up to try to get a win.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Like, hey guys, you're
Look what we're doing,
so keep us up.
we'll get to pissy pants in just a second, but I would like to note that Liverpool did break another record.
Yes.
Good for them.
Good for us.
Yeah, they are now the worst loss after winning a cup, after winning a title.
Yes.
In their very next game, they promptly lost 4-0, and that title used to be held by who, Sam?
Us in 1997-98, the day after we became champions, not the next game after we became champions. I believe we lost 3-0, and we were the heaviest defeat by any team that had just been crowned champions. And yeah, so they took that mantle from us, which is good, and didn't get the one that I care about, which is the Invincibles. So it's lovely, lovely old job.
Yep, take a fuck right off. Sorry, I'm pouring drinks. So you
Sam
have to
can't
The
talk
other-
and pour drinks
and
at the
yeah.
same time.
Well,
The other-
a fly died in it, and I was trying to make sure the fly didn't get anybody's drink.
It's a big ass fly
yeah,
too.
trying to be a nice fucking human being.
And you're not scooping it out, pressing it on its belly, saying, spit it out, you fucker, spit it out.
No, that'd be Graham. He's Irish. That's his job.
Oh, I got the dead fly drink. I just realized.
All right, let's talk
that.
about Paulie Prissy Pants.
I think part of it too was after the abandonment of the guard of honor midway through, Liverpool decided to just roll over and cheapen the victory for City.
And we'll get to NBC Sports in this as well, but
Everyone's getting attacked tonight.
I love how Jurgen suddenly no habla inglés when they start asking him questions.
Yeah.
Now apparently the guy asking him the questions is quite a bit of a twat.
That's Jeff Shreves
Yeah, he's
from
a-
Sky Sports. He's a prat.
He's a
piece
real
of shit.
prick.
Yeah.
But still, he's just like, oh, and basically he's just saying, hey, do you think there was a little bit of a hangover? He didn't say it that directly, but he said it in that many words. And Jurgen was like, I don't understand the question you're telling me. I don't speak English very well. Oh, bullshit, motherfucker. You speak English like a fucking champ.
Well-
and every time you win, you're out there smiling with your fucking shiny veneers going, hey, everybody.
Well, here's the thing. That's exactly it. I was thinking back to times when he lost games in Dortmund, when he got knocked out of the Champions League, or even as recently as this season against Atletico.
Oh, he's a poor loser.
He's a very bad loser. I don't think it was. I don't literally understand the question. It's just like, what do you mean hangover? Fuck a hangover. I don't know. We just played like shit. I don't know what you're talking about.
So
Like, I don't think it was a I don't speak English thing. Although,
he did say, he goes, English is not my first language. He
Okay.
said that in the fucking interview.
so there's also a lot of phrases in German that don't translate into English, and certain words like utensils, right?
Well,
and I
it's-
remember a story of a German tourist couple that sat in a restaurant in a city in which one of my cousins lived, and they said that the person was asking for an extra set of utensils because they were sharing with the person they were traveling with, and they were like, "Can I have? Can I get the food weapons?
Okay.
Food weapons.
Food weapons, because he couldn't figure out a fuck.
I would know exactly what he's talking about.
What?
Was it
No,
food weapons?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Got
Fork,
it.
knife, heard.
Yeah, fork, knife, not a problem. Here's your spear and knife, sir.
I've
not an
spent
issue.
some time in Germany,
Yeah.
and I studied German, and I can tell you with great authority, the word hangover is not in the German language.
There you go.
They just don't get hangovers.
See,
I
right.
might be making that up. I don't know.
I think you're looking at this whole situation with blue tinted glasses, my friend.
So, speaking of blue tinted glasses, I've got a great email here from our buddy Taylor. Something that you could also put in prediction time as well as a bet, but I think it kind of rounds everything out. Hey, Sam, I know you have a proven method for choosing your bets, but if I may, I would like to suggest the surest money you could ever make. Nobody has posted the odds on it yet. But when they do, put everything you own on the over for the number of weeks it's going to take for Liverpool FC to clean all of NBC Sports jizz off of them. Don't care what the over-under is, take the over, bet it all. So,
dare I say it? Is that
Big Sam's Proxy. Taylor's Lock of the Week.
why, yes, it is. And that one 100% of the time works 100% of the time. The same game. Now, Jose's tirade came after the fact, right? Kyle Martino, which we already have our issues with him for the most part.
Him anyway.
After the game, losing to City, he was sitting there saying, why does the press ask him those kind of questions? Why are they being that rude towards Jurgen? They just won the league. They should show respect. Why are you asking him those questions? And then, no sooner than the very next day, is sitting at that table going, Jose, why do you have to be so rude about everything? Why do you have to call out referees? Why can't you just answer the questions? What happened the day before?
Well, I think a lot of that had to do with everyone kind of hates Jeff Shreves.
Yeah, just
I felt bad for Jurgen Klopp just having to have been in the same room for with Jeff Shreves.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't watch Men in Blazers today. Raj was who Roger. If you guys don't know Men in Blazers, Roger Bennett is a huge lifelong Everton fan. Normally waxes poetic about how we constantly lose. They were having John Oliver, who is a known Liverpool fan, and Virgil van Dijk on the show, and I was like, can't watch it. Nope, can't watch it. Can't do it because they're gonna give him. They're gonna say all this bitter stuff to him, and just no, can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch Jurgi lose again this season because I think that they will. I think there's going to be a couple more losses. I'm not sold.
Absolutely.
I'm not sold that they're going to get to 100 points because I
Neither
don't
am I
know
anymore.
I don't know if that team wants to.
Yeah,
And,
neither am I anymore. I don't think it'll happen either.
and you don't get to 100 points. Guess what? You are no fucking better than Blackburn. You really are. You're no better than Blackburn if you don't break that 100 point. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that says you're better than the City team that did.
Agree.
You know, so
Agree.
We bitch about that enough. So I think we've waxed poetically enough about old Polly Prissy Pants, Jurgen Klopp, and his shiny teeth that suddenly were hidden because he was grumpy Jurgen. It's time to tell you what little we know. It is prediction time. All right, Sammy. How about you take your quarter bet that you hit on from last week and your 3/4 of the bet that you hit on this past week, and maybe the bookie will give you a payout.
Yeah. Probably not. Probably
Nope.
not.
I figure you're getting a little bit closer to kneecap time than you are towards
Definitely.
old selling the mattress time there, killer.
Definitely.
Are you just going to
True.
take a little bit of the edge off? Are you just going to make it respectable? Or are you swinging for the fucking fences again?
Swinging for the fences. I know no other way.
Of course you are.
How much am I down? Do you know?
$2,647.
26.47, huh?
Uh-huh.
All right, I might have to make this $800.
Jesus Christ. Are you're just like, fuck Mr. 3000. I'm going for Mr. 5000.
Why not?
Oh
Fuck
my
it.
God.
What's the difference?
Fuck me.
Then I got to redo
right.
the math.
What do you got?
All right, so I have, I just lost it, an Arsenal win over Leicester tomorrow, tonight through the magic of radio. Mel. Then Tottenham to beat Bournemouth, because Bournemouth are shite.
Okay.
And Manchester United to beat Aston Villa.
Okay.
That 3 parlay will pay me plus 419. And I'm going to go with 700 on that.
Jesus.
So 419 times 7 would be a positive 29.19, or I'm down $3,300.
Okay. Jesus.
And leave it, I guarantee you, leave it to fucking Tottenham.
Well, at least
Get Bournemouth's only win this calendar year.
I would like you, please, bet against Villa for the rest of the year, please. Okay? Because
It only works with West Ham. Ask Chris.
Just keep betting against Villa, okay? Don't bet for me at any time.
Got it. Not a problem with the form you all are in. All right, so that's 700 bones. Okay? For Arsenal to beat Leicester, that's the toss-up, of course. Tottenham over Bournemouth away from home, and United over Villa also away from home.
So when is your bookie going to put a cap on how high you can bet? Because normally when you start getting the hole that big, they're not letting you bet like $1,000 on your next round of games.
No,
they're
of
normally
course
like,
not.
you got 100.
He knows I'm good for it. Got all that COVID booze money.
Speaking of bookies, our boy Pat lost his 47, now finds himself an even $1,000 down.
And now, it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
Sunday Fun Day. Man, usually $1,000 is as deep as I can go before it's debt collecting time. And with the way I've been picking almost 90% losers, I don't see me climbing out with long shots and parlays. So I'll just pick 2 games this week, no parlay, 50 on each. Sunday, we've got your boys' clubs both playing. So I like Wolves over Everton at -1.5 at plus 108. Fuck you, Pat. And Tottenham Arsenal at a draw at plus 255. Let's hope this gets me winning again, or at least not losing. Have a great week.
Also, I should say, depending how this goes, I may Facebook Live another bet for the weekend.
Hey, doesn't count on here.
Oh, really?
Doesn't count on here. This
Fine.
is your segment.
Fine.
This is your segment. Again,
What a tyrant.
I know.
again, I hit bets. You do not. I find myself at plus 212 for the season, and I am going to put you in my rearview mirror with
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
25% of the time it works 100% of the time.
You know how annoying that bit is, Mel?
Oh, it's so great.
At least he's consistently annoying.
This week, I'm going to take a pair of goal scorers. I'm going to go with Pulisic to score versus Palace and Aubameyang to score versus Leicester. And if I hit both of those together, I'm doing it as a parlay. It'll net me plus 436. So
Wow.
nice and simple. Pick a couple of goal scorers.
Those are good odds.
Yeah, some great odds. Well, it's because I put them together on their own. They were,
They were not
100
very- yeah.
100 a piece, maybe like $1.09, $1.08. So what's the point of risking 100 to win 108? Why not put them together and risk 100 to win 436
No,
instead?
absolutely.
So
I'm with you.
all right. So that's a great segment, but we give you more. Boys and girls, we give you Kitty the chicken.
Helps if I unmute my microphone. Kitty finds herself back at 500, and she has finally returned back to the coop with the other 2 birds. She's gotten over her broodiness, but unfortunately, Graham, the other birds aren't very receptive to her return, and they beat her up earlier today.
Oh, don't like that.
It's
don't
like
fuck
in
with,
jail
don't fuck with
when
my
somebody
bird.
comes back from the hole. They have to go through like initiation again.
Jeez.
And Gertrude and Rita are just bullying poor Kitty. So I thought I could cheer her up by giving her Brighton hosting Liverpool. But Kitty wasn't able to go into the coop to grab her iPad because Gertie was blocking the door.
Yeah, normally she shows us pictures and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
No. Kitty was over in the corner cooing to herself, "You'll never walk alone."
Oh, because she's alone right now.
So I'm guessing she's picking Liverpool? I don't know. Hopefully we can get all this cleared up soon for our I screwed it up, Sam. Let me try it again. Hopefully we can get this all cleared up soon for our procrastinating head. I just couldn't get the words to come out of my mouth.
It would have been
sorry.
brilliant. It would have
been brilliant. I ruined the bit. I suck. Oh well, as I slink off into obscurity, please remember to drink legally and responsibly. Oh no, it's gambling. Shit, I screwed that up too. Ah!
As you quietly hit the mute button and sulk away, please leave all of that in. Do not edit that out. That is fucking brilliant. It is so.
I'm not even drunk. I don't know what happened. I got so hung up on
Prognosticating.
God damn it! I can't say the word.
Prognosticating.
Prognosticating hen.
There you go.
I speak for a living.
Yeah, that's trouble.
All right. Well, why don't you go ahead and hit that old mute button there,
I
Phil.
will gladly.
Sammy, how'd Drunkard United do?
I don't know.
They won. I know.
Did we won?
They
All
won,
right, sweet.
won like 12-6.
My brother wasn't there. I didn't speak to anybody. I forgot the group text, and then I almost died at your party. So
Yeah. They all played. They played like one of the lower division teams for no good reason. So
because some people didn't show up.
I'm sure. Yeah. Well, when you have to pay the bill for playing in the league,
Yep.
normally a lot of people don't like to show up.
Absolutely.
All right. So FK Sluts, unfortunately, their slide continues as
damn
they
it.
lose to Salvia Moriz 3-1. They conceded 2 quickly in the first 15. They got one back in the 21st minute.
Okay.
And then, unfortunately, at halftime, more than what happened here, the gates of hell opened up and poured all of the water onto the field. And they
there
played
was like a lake in the middle. I'm watching on the cam. This guy
multiple
with this
puddles.
umbrella, like trying to get it, and it kept flipping out. And all this
no.
is happening on the camera. That's just getting covered in rain.
Oh no.
It was the best.
multiple puddles, multiple standing water puddles in the pitch. So
That sucks.
and they ended up conceding one more and losing 3-1. That's now, I believe, 6 on the slide for them. Oh,
Jeez.
not going well. Not
No,
going
not
well
at
at
all.
all. And the manager this week did step down, so it was an assistant coach that took over for the side.
Okay.
So we know they have a little bit of financial issues as well. So
They were one of the clubs being rescued by the big boys, I think.
yeah.
Right?
So I'll be watching them again on Friday, and I'm just hopefully things turn around for them. But it
It'd
was
be nice.
quite disappointing to see, and since we've put our allegiance behind them, they haven't done well. So I don't want to give them like the DU curse. I'm starting to get a little bit of a complex.
I know. The my daughter did teach me though how to use YouTube on my television,
Oh, very good.
so I'll be able to watch them on TV. Mel,
Yeah, I've been.
she is good for something. Okay.
I got the Roku stick. I've been watching it regularly on TV. There, killer.
Yeah. Lucky you.
Hey, look, they're just, you know what? It's not a live performer and a microphone for her to steal and make it all about her. So you don't have to worry about anything. All right, Sammy, that about wraps it up. Any parting words?
Actually, I don't. With no fans in the stands, everybody's been pretty much cool since that asshole flew the banner over Manchester City. So
All right, well
it's
then,
fairly simple.
I've got parting words for you.
Uh-oh.
Remember the time we got the email from Afghanistan,
Yes.
and then you replied back to find out that it was a spam email?
Yes.
From one Miss Amanda Williamson. Hi, how are you today? I would like to know if you received the mail I sent you. I am worried. Kindly reply me. Just want to let you know.
Okay.
She's still out there, Sam, and she's still thinking about you.
Got
I
it.
got that today, and I thought that was very important to let you know.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to reply later.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely reach out. Find out what
Yes.
you could do. Her faith is Christian.
Yes. Yeah.
I deleted the email. I wish I hadn't, so we could have gone back and looked at all of it.
That
It
was
fabulous.
One of the most. It was more poorly written than the notes I couldn't read earlier.
It's definitely some Nigerian print shit.
Oh, for sure.
Was it as bad as that Liverpool email you kept getting? Mike Cockers. What was his name?
Was good to see him on Friday.
It was great to see him on Friday.
That was the
Nice
beginning of
when
my
he made-
downfall.
See Mike
Mikey
Cockers.
Oh, Mikey Rogers. So, boys and girls, next up is injury time. Just more of the same, where we predict the next fucking 20 games for next week that we've got to do. So, Sam, how do people find our injury time?
Yeah, they find that show on Patreon. www.patreon.com/DUfootballshow. There's multiple tiers you can sign up to. The middle tier and above will get you access to injury time. So, amongst other fun shit. So, make sure you check it out. Consider donating, and it's for help keep the lights on. And keep the show running, but you also get some pretty cool shit to go along with it.
I'll tell you, if you want all the drama of what happened at the 3rd of July party, we covered that in our sound check feature. So
Absolutely.
Which is one of the extras you get.
yes,
Yeah, you get about another hour plus of show.
At least. This week we might get an hour and a half.
Yep. Well, 20 fucking games and a big ass bottle of beer and a couple other things to go over.
Yep.
So, yep. Thank you very much. So until next week, everybody.
Good night.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of my lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Brown.
Drunkard United! Drunkard United! Hit the fucking mute button.